So here we are. I'm going to review Charuto's Tobacco Vanille. Now, I initially ordered this from FragranceNet some time back, but they used OnTrack to deliver, and OnTrack lost the package. So kind of left a bad taste with FragranceNet, because if I can't choose my shipping provider, the deliverer, then I don't know if I want to keep using it, because I'm just not working with OnTrack again. It was at their facility. Anyway, the Charuto's Tobacco Vanille is actually a special Unravel for me, because Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille was what got me into the private line fragrances. Now, I had gone through Macy's and Sephora and JCPenney. I've tried all the department store fragrances on that line. So I had all the Bosses, all the Hugo Bosses, all the Calvin Kleins, the Tommy, the Polos. I've went through all of them. I either owned a bottle or smelled them all. Very likely probably owned them. But Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford was what got me into that private line. And this was way back, it was 2007. It was a hell of a discovery. I used to work around Bergdorf Goodman, and that's where I discovered it. Or at least it's kind of what started it off. And Tobacco Vanille was one of those fragrances that was very expensive, and I learned before Fragrantica there was base notes. In base notes, scent splits started there, kind of. People would get on the forums and they would request decants of a specific fragrance, and most of my fragrances were bought via the decants, the scent splits, because I couldn't afford the real bottle. So Tobacco Vanille was actually my first scent split purchase. They would get a list of people, and the person would buy the big giant bottle. If enough people committed to making the purchase, they would buy the big bottle, and then they would decant it into smaller bottles. That's actually how we would buy our private line fragrances without having to purchase the full bottle ourselves. The availability of dupes was really non-existent. I think I used to visit Oswald's downtown a lot, and I purchased, I think the one was Fadon's Tabac Rouge. Came close, but didn't really come close enough. So a little thing about me is I don't like cloves. Really, I don't like the smell of clove. It's one of those notes that just turn me off completely. As I was looking for Tobacco Vanille inspos, I was really looking for that there was more forward in the tobacco and vanille and not so much on the spices, the cloves. So many things came up. You had the Al Haramain tobacco version, you had the Maison Alhambra version, and this one, through reviews, came up many times as, while there are cloves, it's not really heavy on cloves. So I'm actually very excited to give this a whiff and see whether this was a worthy purchase. 2024, so this is pretty, I think it's matured enough in the bottle. Though I hate the fucking bottle. I hate this tacky shit thing right over here. Look at that. The FragranceNet one has the new design, and I would rather have that one, but I'll figure it out. This is the box that comes in. It's like, and the bottle, that same tacky thing. Like, I don't need that. I really don't care for it. Maybe I'll see if I can remove it. Really, I just don't like it. Spray. Tester. So immediately, if anybody's ever smelled Tobacco Vanille, I mean, really, this is not Tobacco Vanille, as in the Tom Ford one. There's a full-bodiedness that comes from the Tom Ford version. The density of the fragrance, it smells thicker. I guess the word I want to use is full-bodied. Now, the profile is there. Like, I can tell you it's inspired by Tobacco Vanille, but it is not Tobacco Vanille. It does open up with those spices. I can smell little hints of clove. But the spices are kind of going down. And I heard the dry down is really good. What I paid for this doesn't smell like a cheap fragrance. But it doesn't smell like Tom Ford. It smells good though. And on my skin, those spices do kind of dip down quicker than on paper. And now I get more tobacco, less of the vanilla, and they're starting to shift around. It's not a strong performer. I wouldn't call it weak. The reality is, and this is nothing against Paris Corner because this is a great scent, but if I had to tell someone who is looking for Tobacco Vanille, that fragrance, they should get Tobacco Vanille, the Tom Ford one. But this scent by itself, like if you've seen my other videos, inspos and dupes should be treated as on their own, the scent on their own. And the fragrance does shuffle around on skin. It doesn't have the richness of the Tom Ford. I'll grant that. But I'm not paying a Tom Ford premium. For what I'm paying for this, I think in the air, if people don't know, this will smell good to them. Most people will smell this and they say, wow, you smell good. Some of them might recognize, is that Tobacco Vanille? It's good. As a scent itself, it's a B-. As it progresses, the vanilla comes out more. It's actually getting a little sweeter. As an inspired buy for Tobacco Vanille, it's fine. I haven't smelled the El Haramain version. I don't know if it's better or worse. But for what you pay for this versus the El Haramain, I mean, this will do the job. If you're looking for something in the space of Tobacco Vanille. It is not Tobacco Vanille, but you kind of need to walk in here knowing that. I think that's the thing with inspos and dupes is you're buying a fragrance. You should know it's not the original. You're not going to get the original. If you want the real original, you got to pay the premium for the original. Even though some fragrances come close, there are some fragrances that are just not clonable. So I wanted to chime in and give an update. It's been about 2 hours since I first sprayed it, and now I've got the dry down, and what I can say is that the dry down is very good. So I would actually rate this a B, because after you get past that initial stage, because the initial stage really doesn't give you that original Tobacco Vanille. But then again, what would you expect? It's not Tobacco Vanille. That dry down is actually very good. It is a good mix of vanilla and tobacco. So if you can get past that initial opening and wait till the dry down, it's actually get very, very pleasant. So I would say that this is a good purchase. And true to my word, I took out the damn thing. Ha. No offense to Paris Corner, but that was just tacky. I don't understand why it was even put there in the first place. The new design bottles, however, now that they're being out there, they don't have it, but just took care of it. That's my review of Charuto's Tobacco Vanille. It is a good alternative to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. The only other Tobacco Vanille alternative I did try was Dossier's. They don't call it Tobacco Vanille, but it does. Dossier does give you a little bit of that scent, that Tobacco Vanille scent, but I don't think Dossier performs well, even though the scent itself, it comes close. However, this is actually better once you get to the dry down. So you got to wait about 30 to 40 minutes until it gets past that point, and then this really shines. So thank you for watching me on this Unravel, and I look forward to more reviews and other topics. Hopefully I'm going to be able to talk about other things, but more fragrance reviews coming up. So thank you.